Carlisle, St. Patrick.
Well, all right. What's going on, everybody? We're in the building. I am Carlisle St. Patrick. Man, and you are listening to the Carlisle St. Patrick Bring It to the Table. Boy, we're about to go in. I got the mighty men of valor in the building. Man, boy, we got a good one tonight. But before we go in, let's go ahead and introduce the fellas. We got Pastor Walter Kirk Jr. in the building. Talk to him, brother.
Blessings, everyone.
Also, we got Sammy D in the place to be.
All right.
Yeah, boy. We are about to go on in. Let's get it. Got us a little music. Man, our lesson plan today is entitled Appreciate Life. Let's go ahead and give a little synopsis on that. Don't allow life to work you to the point of taking you away from the very thing you are doing it for. Boy, you know, oftentimes in life we work, and we're trying to accomplish some goals and accumulate finances, buy a home, but whatever it is, it may be for you. But how often have you stopped and just looked around, you know, to look at your accomplishments or even spend time with your family? We can't get so caught up in life that we don't really pay attention to the more important things. And that's family. Even yourself, thinking about your health and thinking about what's going on with you and making sure that you are good. Man, but we're about to go on in. What'd you say, fellas? Give me somebody.
Well, that's what subject matter, right? What's
yes,
going
sir.
Where we start? Where we coming from tonight?
Well, we just went over what it is we are going to really be focusing on. Just being able to appreciate life. And what I want to do is show how God himself, he even after each day when he created the heavens and the earth, he took time to reflect and say, this is good. You know what I'm saying? Even the Sabbath, when we think about the Sabbath, he really made the Sabbath for us so we can be replenished, you know, so we can get rest. You know what I'm saying? Because he said on the seventh day he rested. God doesn't need to rest. God always have been and always was. You know, so he doesn't need to sleep nor slumber.
Right.
But he did that for us so we can be the best that we can be.
Right. My take on that is that through my experience in being an entrepreneur, I just started realizing about, you know, leaving a legacy and building blocks for my children. So when I leave, just like our parents did, our parents, you know, those that have passed, left us something behind. And I think it's important to leave a legacy behind. But at the same time, you have to remember why you're building that legacy. Why are you building it? And you have to enjoy it in the midst of you doing it.
Right.
I've been so, you know, in the beginning, I was looking at life, nothing but forward of the future. And now, because of the things and my relationship to God that I have learned in, you know, these few years, I realized to go day by day and appreciate the small things, which build up to what I'm building, and look at, you know, as they say, stop and smell the roses.
Right.
Then you don't realize what you're building if you're constantly on the go every day in this matrix system that world has made us to believe that it has to be that way, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
You make your world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's designed by how you make it, and I take the responsibility of myself in doing that, and that's what makes me appreciate life, because when you get up every day to the same humdrum thing every day, you start to depreciate. It's like I went to a restaurant today, and I've been to this restaurant 3 or 4 times, and the young lady has served us. This lady did not remember us. And I know that she serves many people, but it was routine for her.
Mm.
And it caused me to think that she's tired. She's tired. So
Yeah.
every one of us looks the same to her, because this is what she does every day as a waitress.
Right.
And she's just getting through the day.
Hmm.
Right.
She's getting through the day. So it was like, she asked me, have you been here before? And I laugh because we had conversation
Hmm.
the last time she came. But I also, looked at the fact that she was tired, and her day is repeatedly the same thing every day. So I didn't really trip on it. It just made me think about life. Like, she's just trying to get through the day. She's just trying to make her money, get through the day, because there's thousands of people that come in here.
Right.
So I don't live my life like that. I make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I've set my, I've made my day by being an entrepreneur and appreciating being somewhere different. Or, it's just like the other morning, I got up to watch the sun come up.
Mm.
And how often do we get up to go watch the sun come up? We don't.
Right. Right.
So it just made me think and be grateful for the things that God puts beyond, here for our life. But we don't take advantage of it. We're
Take
in
it
this.
for granted.
Yeah, we take it for granted. We're
Yeah.
in this
Mhm.
get up every day and do the same thing, and it burns you out.
It does. It
Mhm.
does. Man, go ahead and read Genesis 1:1, to give us a little
Um,
give us some direction up in here so we can.
let's see. The account of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night, and evening passed and morning came, marking the first day.
Yeah. See, and when I reflect on that, it just makes me think about. Let me see what camera I'm on. Oh yeah, I'm on one. No, I'm on. What about two? Yeah. But anyway, when I think about that text, it just brings me back to what I was saying. Even God, although he didn't have to, I mean, he rested after
Right.
he had created the light and the dark, and he separated one from another, and he named them. He looked at it and said, "Man, this is good." Like he was appreciating his own work. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's a beautiful thing, and it's like oftentimes we are builders, we are creators, and we're constantly moving. We don't often take the time out to reflect and look at life like, man, okay. And it's not that you're feeling yourself, but you're enjoying what it is that God have given you, meaning the ability to create.
Right.
Sometimes we don't stop and do that. Just let me reflect on and look at God gave me this ability to create. Like the studio, I built this. I hate to say I did it, but God gave me the strength and the know-how, to do this. And it worked. It came together for what we needed it to come together for. And like you say, everything that he does and allow in our life is really for his purpose.
Right.
Mhm.
But
You-
he's allowing us to do it for our good. You know what I'm saying? So we're able to reap the benefits of God's purpose because it's working for our good.
Right.
Yes, sir.
He leaves it up to us.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves that up to us. It's like you built this. You built this before we were under a tent.
Right.
So if you didn't take the time to stop and look at where you came from and started,
Mm.
then you don't appreciate exactly where you are. We're constantly striving to get to a certain point every day.
Right.
But every now and then you got to stop, like I said, and smell the roses and remember when you didn't have this or you didn't have that. And God sees that in your heart. And when you act on actions that towards God in that and thank him, he just he rewards you with more.
Yeah, he does.
He rewards you with more for even thinking of those little things, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pastor.
No, I've just looked. I'm just going in where y'all falling off y'all backs, man. What you guys are saying, and I just think when you when you when God does everything for a purpose, and when He created us in His likeness and in His image, that He had a purpose for each one of us to fulfill. And when you're doing when you sometimes it takes us to do other things before we get to our purpose.
Right.
I think we have to understand that there's some tents before we get to the building. You know what I'm saying? There's not always he doesn't just throw you into your purpose right away all the time.
Right.
A lot of times you have to do the tent before you can do the building.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we don't take the time to appreciate the tent.
Right.
The tent things are the tent things that get you to understand that when you really get to your purpose, now you can really take the time and appreciate it, because now you see it for what it was, for where God is taking you and what God has created us to do.
Right.
And so I think we all have those tent moments, like Carla was saying, and we've all had those days where we were doing things that we didn't feel that we were really created to be here for,
Right.
or where we was even in our purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you don't understand it was a plan all along.
Exactly.
And so, and the thing is, if we don't pay attention to the mundane things, to the little things, then it's a good chance when we get in our purpose that we won't really appreciate it when we get into the purpose of it. And I think God gave us a great example in these scriptures. As we go forward, we're gonna hear a little bit more about it.
Right. You know what I've realized is that before, these pitfalls that we have and all these tribulations that we're having, they're building us for what he's preparing us for all the time.
Yes.
And we look at it like it's just such a downfall. But in reality, we should grant these tests that come, because it is shaping us for what he is preparing us for
Mm-hmm.
in our next lives.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? To level us up all the time. We've talked about this before, but
Mm-hmm.
you really, you don't want confusion, but going through confusion levels you up and you become indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
You become indestructible and you can take whatever comes along the way. It's just how you handle it, and you learn how to handle it with ease through these trials and tribulations that he gives you, and it makes you appreciate life
Mm-hmm.
to when you didn't have certain things. But he's doing it for our good, and we never stop to realize that this is for my good, because once I get over this hump, I'll be able to create this or do that, and
Right.
everything else becomes a small feat.
Right. Definitely. Father, just like you were saying, I like the analogy of the tent. As we know, they started off in a tent of meeting. The covenant box was in a tent until he had them build a temple.
Mm-hmm.
So he eventually they went into the building, and like you said, we started off in the tent. And that's just another aspect of saying don't despise the small beginnings. Everybody wants that, man. I want to go in a building. I want this. I want that. But man, enjoy that moment of that tent moment. You know what I'm saying? When you're just starting off, you're just beginning. Because I know a lot of people that are very wealthy and they have these big corporations and these big businesses. They wish they could take some time off and spend with their family. And I was listening to a great bishop, and he was talking about how he made his church, the people, his priority. And in the process of that, his family fell by the wayside.
Hmm.
You know, his ideal, okay, I'm doing what God wants me to do. But sometimes, like you say, we forget our first ministry is at home. You know, we got to make sure that home is right. You know, anything that we're doing,
Mhm.
if we're preaching something, we have to practice that first. We have to make sure that we are tight and we are able to sustain what God has given us. Oftentimes, we take what God given us for granted. We don't really be a good steward of it.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's why sometimes you do have to stop and reflect. Let me take time and look at this. Go to Father in prayer, you know, see what he's saying, see if he's even with me on this journey. Is this something that he actually told me to do, or am I doing it because I want to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Mhm.
Pastor. I see you brewing.
No, it's just what you guys is touching on it. I mean, he created a plan and a pattern for us to follow.
Right.
He said, you know, in the beginning he created heaven and earth. Then he said, let there be light. And then he let there be firmament.
Yeah.
And he just went and created it everything. And
Right.
then if you notice at the end, he placed man there.
Right.
So he made sure that man wouldn't take any glory for himself.
Right.
Make sure that man wouldn't
Hmm.
recognize that, okay, listen, you, me. And then he said, let us make him in our likeness.
Right.
He was saying them in three parts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Come on now.
So then he did the same thing with us. He created us he gave us life with the Spirit and the Word, and he gave us as a three-part being. He made us as the same image as him. He said in his image. So then he gave us the same. He gave us all the things we needed to perform the purpose of what we were doing before we started creating anything else, or before we started, putting our hand into anything else. He gave us the instructions to
Right.
follow it,
Right.
to follow exactly what we needed to do. So I think the plans are always laid out for a man.
Mm.
We always try to say, well, I don't know my purpose, or why am I here? What am I
Right.
here to do?
Right.
Your purpose is to do what he said in the beginning.
Huh.
Everybody's purpose is the same,
Right.
but see, the assignment for everyone is different.
Right.
And do that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we all get bogged down into doing the monot things that really are going to develop us into our purpose.
Yeah.
And then when we miss that,
Mm.
we look back and say, wow, you know, years have passed, time has passed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. The purpose is him.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? We're here to really serve him.
Mhm.
Right.
Now, in the service of our assignment, that's a whole nother story. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? We all are assigned. You know what I'm saying? But the purpose is here to serve him. And then what he does
Mhm.
in the actions of our assignment, we get to serve him.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like you say, once you fall into place and understand why am I here,
Mhm.
half the people don't know why they're here. That's why they're constantly working and working and working.
Right.
And they think they're working to accomplish and get this bread. Let me
Mhm.
get this car, you know,
Mhm.
let me get this, oh, let me get the girl, let me get the bag.
Mhm.
You're here really to serve God. That's your
Right.
purpose. Now, assignment wise, God is going to allow you to receive greatness, but he get the glory in your assignment.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So greatness meaning some things,
Mhm.
Right.
if that's what you're seeking.
Mhm.
But when you're diligently seeking him, sooner or later, those things become lesser and less on your list. I'm just going to keep it real.
Right.
I'm one of those, I still like things, but not really.
Mhm.
I don't have to have them now. I guess because I got enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm making him my priority is high on my list right now. So whatever it is that serving him is, if I'm pleasing him or doing right by him, that's enough for me. Because if I do that, that lets me know that I have it all.
Hmm.
Go ahead and read the next scripture.
Genesis 1:26 to 31. Then God said, let us make human beings in our image to be like us. They will reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals on the earth, and the small animals that scurry along the ground. So God created human beings in his own image,
Mhm.
and in the image of God, he created them. Then God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." Then God said, "Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. And I have given every green plant as food for all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, and the small animals that scurry along the ground. Everything has life." And that is what happened. Then God looked over all he had made, and he saw that it was very good. And evening passed, and morning came, making the sixth day.
Mhm.
Well, I love that because he, like I say again,
Mhm.
God is looking at that and he said, "Man, this is very good."
Like, I'm amazed at
Yeah.
myself. Yeah. Like, look what I
right,
did.
right. Like he really needs to get, to bask in his own. He is great, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he doesn't have to really, like I said, when he brought these texts and these scriptures to men, he was thinking about us so we can get a better understanding on how to go about this life. You know what I'm saying? When you are building, when you are creating, when you're at work, when you're teaching, when you're helping people, sit back and look at your accomplishment, not to feel yourself, but say, "Man, you know what? I appreciate you, God. Thank you.
Mhm.
This is beautiful." You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Pastor.
I think he wanted us to understand who we are,
Yes, sir.
who and what we are.
Mm.
We are, I know people don't like to say that little gods, little G's
Yes,
in
sir.
in a sense, but we are in his likeness and his image.
Yeah.
Now, just because I'm in your likeness image, I mean I am you, but I'm not you.
Come on now.
So I have to understand that. Okay, if he created me in his image, and then he told me to be what, to be fruitful and multiply, and he said replenish
Yeah.
the earth. And see, we have to understand that that means that we're to do a job. Like if he's the CEO of the company and he makes you the manager, and then he tells you in your instructions, he's given you the authority to take to rule and over the earth.
Mhm.
The earth is all, he gave the earth to us
Yeah.
to do his bidding
Mhm.
within instructions. And I
Right.
think we've gotten so far from what we were really here to do and create. It's not that we can't rest. We just don't know how to rest.
Right.
We don't know how to rest. We're just going. We're doing a job that we don't even love. We're doing
Huh.
something that we wasn't even created to do.
Mhm.
He didn't tell you to stay there. He just told you that this might be a minute where you at.
Right.
This just might be going to take you to your purpose,
Right.
to your process, to your appointed position. But the problem is we got so hung up on the things of the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we don't realize that we a lot of us will go to the grave and not even fulfill our appointment here, and our gifts will a lot of times go to the grave with us.
Like you said, we get caught up in the matrix of things
Mm-hmm.
and forget that all these things in life, like all these riches, are tools. They're just tools.
Yes.
So we have to remember not to get bogged at the fact that we can't worship them.
Right.
We worship them and we think that, oh, we got to have this and we got to have that. But without health, we can't do nothing with any of that stuff. I mean, what good is a fancy car, or what good is wearing diamonds and gold if you laid up in bed sick and you can't, you don't have your health. So we have to remember that it is, we all have likes. That some of us are educators and we like being educated, and some of us are those that like gold and jewelry, and it's all okay. But there's a limit to everything. You cannot, you can't have too much sex. You can't eat too much. Everything has a limitation.
That's right.
And when we learn that limitation, that's what makes our life better. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it, because we go overboard with all the things that are out here, and we get caught up in it. And
That's right.
that's where our downfall comes from. And we forget about what we are here for. Just as we were saying, we're here to help one another. A lot of these things, you know, this gold and these riches, they're really rewards for what you do, but it doesn't mean anything because they're temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're only here for a short period of time, just like we are all actually here for a short period of time once we look at it. If you've gone partly through life, you know,
Yeah.
you start to look at it and say, man, life is really short. It's not long at all.
No, not this life, at least.
No.
Yeah.
I just think he's just a God of order, and he wants us to understand that, yes, you supposed to work.
Yeah.
He created us here to do a work. Then he created us that he said, then take your rest.
Mhm.
So I had to understand that working 2 and 3 jobs wasn't really benefiting me.
No.
It was really, you know, there's a time in your life when you in your youth that you have to press.
Right.
You should be pressing.
Yep.
You should be putting in them work. You got to put in more than 8 hours. You should. You got to put in 10. You should. Maybe even 12 some days. Especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, and which we all should be entrepreneurs.
Right.
Right.
But then there comes a time where the wisdom side is supposed to kick in, and then that thing's supposed to filter down, and then you supposed to make people like you do the things that you do, so that you don't always put your hand to it. See, one thing he says, replenish. What do? You replenishing, because
That's teaching.
that's teaching,
Yeah.
right? Because your body, because
Each
it
one
wants.
teach one.
Because
Yeah.
what's happening to us as we getting older,
Mhm.
we're
Mhm.
Exactly.
We're moving.
We pass
Yeah.
it on.
but when I pass it on to a youth, what does it do?
Right.
It keeps rising back up, because he said, be fruitful, multiply,
Right.
and replenish.
Right. Right.
So we don't get we get the wrong concept of what we're here to do.
Yeah.
That's why me and Carla had a good talk one day, and we were talking about I tell my grandson, I was telling him he's just starting basketball, and I told him it's the little things that you're doing that are going to form the habits of who you're going to be as a man.
Right.
Right.
You can't turn it on. People think you can turn it on. When I get 18, and then when I get 28, 50, I'm gonna have this wife, and I'm gonna have this. You know, there's nothing wrong with dreaming and having a plan, but you do the things now to put yourself in a place in order, so that when the time comes, it's just not rhetoric. It's like, yes, I can see.
Mhm.
I can see the plans that I have for you,
Mhm.
you know, and that's what he did. He laid it out for us.
Right.
And then he said, listen, this is all yours. Just work it.
My motto's work hard, play hard.
That's it. Exactly. You should play hard because you have put in the work.
Exactly.
Right. 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 I was just thinking about that text when he said it was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And after he said that, he told you what day it was. This is the 6th day.
That's right.
And what I one of the things that stands out to me in that is that he is saying, stop and look around.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sammy D said, smell the roses.
Yes.
So basically, he's telling you to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always just about work. At one time it was, he said, you're going to work to the sweat of your brow. But when Jesus went to the cross for us, the dynamics of things changed.
Yes.
So not that you're supposed to be lazy, but now life will flow a little differently because of the cross. You know what I'm saying? So he's actually showing you, let me teach you and give you a format on how this thing called life goes. You
Mhm.
build
Mm-hmm.
and build,
Mm-hmm.
stop, reflect,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it
Don't
actually
stop.
change?
get back to it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Didn't it actually change when Adam
Yeah, after they sinned.
after they sinned? I mean,
It wasn't even.
it was supposed to be, we were supposed to live here in a fruitful life, and but Adam, I mean, he knew what was going to happen, but
Right.
Adam did what he did, and he changed the whole concept of our way of living.
Because he said that he given us the fruit
Mm.
with berries, with the
Seed bearing.
seed
Right.
bearing fruit. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yes,
Mhm.
seed bearing fruit for your food. And guess what he gave the animals? He gave them seed bearing fruit for their food.
Right.
So it was already plenished to us. All we had to do was manage it.
Right.
Right.
And see, and that's the problem. We don't want to manage our lives properly. So because we get out of order. You know what we do? We run out there, have children out of the way of love. We run out of there, start doing drugs. We start drinking. We start doing everything out of order. And then we got to catch up, try to make up for what we do. So now we just on the rat race. We on the wheel. We on the wheel like the hamster, trying to get back to get back in place again. And then that creates us more situations. So the bottom line is he's laid it out for us.
Right.
It's just that we didn't take the time to understand it.
No.
Because he didn't mean for it to be for us to work to the sweat of our brow.
Right.
He didn't mean for the woman.
It wasn't like that.
He didn't mean for the woman to have pain in her childbearing. He didn't mean all of that was not
a part of the
original plan. But he knew what was going to pertain to that. So he created what a savior for us to get through it because he knew, like, okay, this is my kid, just like you know your kid, and I know my kid, and you know yours.
Man, I know he down there messing up.
Yeah, you know what your kid gonna do. You watch them long enough, you know how they act and what they do, and he's like, this is gonna be a problem. It's gonna be some problems down the line.
Definitely, it's a day-to-day thing, like Father was showing us. Just being able to stop and reflect and look around, like, man, you know what?
Yes.
I have a beautiful family.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife is fine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I got the grandchildren.
Yes.
You're looking at all of these things. But half of the CEOs don't get a chance to see that. They working and working and working. And next thing you know, you got Dexter St. Jock in there. He teaching her exercises and exercising her too. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then your kids is on drugs. They don't respect nobody.
Right. But so that means it's
out
of order.
Yeah, out of order.
It's out of order.
These things going on because, like Father told you to stop and look at it, enjoy it, appreciate it, and know where it came from.
Exactly.
Man.
You know,
right.
It's God knows it, what we need and how we need it.
Right.
And it's just up to us to listen and feel and get the plan and say, you know what? Yes, I do need to put work, because he said if you don't work, you don't eat.
That part.
Exactly.
So that doesn't mean we have to understand God is a God of balance.
Right.
He allows us to understand that, listen, I need you to work. I need you to worship me too.
Right. And everything is in his time. We try to make everything microwave because we see it like we're not progressing fast enough. I want to be here
at our pace.
Right. And we're looking at everybody else and comparing ourselves to somebody else.
And that's where we get in trouble. Exactly.
I used to do that. I used to compare myself to other people, but I stopped because I realized that we all got different journeys. And we all came from different lifestyles and grew up differently. And you cannot compare yourself to nobody else here on earth besides yourself.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, as long as you stay in your own lane, you'll be fine. And you have to be patient, because it's just like, you know, it's like building blocks. You know, the foundation got to be set right first, but everybody wants to just throw it up there
any kind of way. And then expect everything to build on that.
Exactly.
And then it starts crumbling. And then you don't understand why. Why me? Why is this happening to me? It's because I took a shortcut somewhere.
Exactly.
I took shortcuts in my life, and I knew I was supposed to do it this way, but I did it anyway. And then you know what ends up happening? Because it happened to me. It's like you find yourself right about to hit that level, and then something happens and breaks it down, and you say, but I never thought that was going to happen to me. I never thought that could happen to me. But there was something wrong in your foundation. There was something incomplete that you didn't lesson, and you still got to get that lesson.
Like Carlisle said, I always stop and
smell the flowers
and ask God, is this right what I'm doing?
Yes.
And he'll let you know. You just got to stop long enough to listen.
Yes.
So that he could send somebody away that's going to speak to, because we are all, it's through other people. He uses everyone in order to show everyone's either blessings or faults or whatever. We're too busy trying to correct one another when he's going to do that for us. If we stay long enough and slow down long enough to see what's happening, You will see, you
'Cause-
know.
because he's either going to be an example to me, or he's going to
Be a hindrance.
a hindrance to me. What's the lesson to it? What am I?
Right.
What am I trying to get? I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to make me better. I'm
Right.
not trying to make him better.
Right.
I'm not trying to make him. I'm trying to make me better.
Right. Right.
And see, and that's what we try to do. We like you said, we start coveting other things and other places and other people.
Well, that comes from, like you said, not putting things in its proper order.
Yeah.
When you see, when you go back to Genesis and look how God put everything together,
Yes, he did.
he really, let me see. There we go.
Mm.
He put it together and he showed us step by step.
Yes, he did.
I built this. First I brought in the light. Then I separated this from that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I made that and formed that and so on and so forth. And then man came into play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm going to make sure that everything is set up right and put into place or in position
Mm-hmm.
before I bring in man. And then once man was in position and he knew what his job was, his assignment,
Mm-hmm.
then I will bring in woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So once woman came in, now you both have an assignment together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I will make you a helper suitable for
Mhm.
you. You know what I'm saying? So they had an assignment together. So as you see, you go back to Genesis and start in the beginning. He showed us step by step by step.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And when he was doing that, he showed you how to stop
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy it and look at your accomplishment and know that, hey, you didn't do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's crazy because God, although he could have, he didn't even do it by himself. You see that?
Right.
He
Mhm.
said, let us.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit was present while he was creating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so he's saying the same thing with us. Sometimes we have that me. I can do it all by myself. I don't need no help.
That's true. And I think I was looking at the scripture where we read. He said it was really good.
Mhm.
He said I think it was on the third day.
Yes, sir.
He said, "Let me put the firmament
Mm-hmm.
and let me separate the waters."
Yes.
And put the firmament. What he meant was heaven.
Right.
And so what he meant, he separated the waters from the top, from the bottom.
Right.
So what he's what I'm trying to understand, what I'm feeling, what God is saying, he's like, I'm gonna teach you, but I'm gonna use the people around you to teach you too. I'm gonna water you with the people that you around you,
Right.
Right.
and you can accept the water because the water first came from the ground up first,
Yeah.
and then but God had already placed you with instructions here. So now I'm gonna let the people around you water them, so you can see you can receive from what each one of them have from you, or you can try your own way
Mhm.
and keep and see how that works. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to. You don't have to go through the lesson I went through.
Right.
You don't have to if
Right.
you watching me
Right.
and we you know what I'm saying, we're sharpening each other. You don't have to do that
Right.
because you're gonna need your rest, just like I'm gonna need my rest.
Right.
I'm gonna need a day where I gotta say, okay, you know what? All right, I got that lesson. I don't want to do that one over again.
Yeah.
Some plant, some water, and God.
All
made
day,
the
all
increase.
day. He said the
That's right.
firmament, he made the heaven.
Yes, sir.
He said, I'm gonna separate that water.
I think we're all guilty of the fact that we decided that it's like, we buy something and when we get ready to put it together, we think that we could put it together ourselves without reading the manual. But he left the manual here
There
for
you
us
go.
to go read.
There you go.
And we refuse to read the manual.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep trying to do it ourselves.
Mhm.
And he keeps sending us back to the process again. You're not reading the manual. So
That's it.
I'm gonna hit you with these tribulations. So you can so you're gonna have to go back and read the manual.
Yeah.
Well, we'll read the next part of the manual. Genesis 2:1-4.
Genesis 2:1-4. So creation of the heaven and the earth and everything in them was completed. And on the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation.
Mhm.
So he rested from all his work.
Mhm.
And God blessed the seventh day
Mhm.
and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all his work of creation. This is the account of creation of the heaven and the earth.
Mhm.
Okay, read the next one. Mark 2:27.
The reason for the Sabbath. Then Jesus said to them, The Sabbath was made to meet the needs of the people and not people to meet the requirements of the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even over the Sabbath.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's deep. Boy, oh boy, I'm gonna go in on that right quick.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
deep.
so like I was telling you guys earlier, the Sabbath was really created for us. Being able to rest. God knows that we are at best when we are well rested. And what he did is not only said, take that day of rest, but also reflect and spend time with him. So he wanted to replenish your body and your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You feel me?
Oh yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. So that's the combination that we should be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever day you choose to take that day off, spend some time with Father. Spend some time in your prayer closet. Spend some time in your word.
Mhm.
Spend some time fasting. You know, spend some time reflecting
Yeah.
on him. Not only that you get your rest, but also be replenished in your soul and in your spirit.
Got to replenish this body too.
Yes, sir.
This body got to rest.
Come on, man.
This flesh.
Yeah.
You without this body,
Mm,
the spirit and the soul can't exist.
Right.
So you have to take care of the body. The
Right.
body is the one that needs the rest more so than anything, because God will, when you talk to him, he will feel your spirit.
Yeah,
And then your soul is just your intellect, whatever. It won't stay sharp.
exactly.
If you don't get the rest, your mind, you start slipping.
Start making mistakes.
You start making mistakes.
That's trying to cut your own hand off.
Exactly. So he's saying,
Yeah.
I know how you guys gonna do. You guys gonna try to, we get so vigorous in what we're doing. But I had to understand, I'm gonna balance what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work 8 to 10 hours if I had to. I'm gonna spend some time at home,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna do ministry.
Mm.
And if that's he said that's good enough. He said that 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Oh man, sorry, I hit my phone. So
So
my
start
bad.
preaching. Huh?
Yeah.
You speaking so good, the
Yeah.
phone had to say something.
No, but I'm saying he said that's enough. He
Right.
made that enough. If that's whatever you do, if you're an entrepreneur and you owning your business,
Mhm.
you there's enough time for you to do that and do the things that you're supposed to be well rounded,
Right.
and it's going to be enough because he's going to make it enough
Right.
because you're doing it in order.
Right.
But when you
Ooh,
do it
yeah.
the other way,
Mhm.
Right.
it's never enough. Have you ever just worked 12, 14 hours and it still ain't enough coming in?
Yeah.
No matter what you do, it still ain't coming in enough. No matter if you don't spend no time at home, it don't matter how much money you bring in. At some point, you like, I don't care about
Right.
that. I don't care
Right.
about that. We
Right.
just we in a bad space.
Right.
we ain't spending no time together. We ain't doing nothing. It just never. It won't work. It
Right.
just won't. It just
Yeah.
won't.
Right.
Well,
They all-
there's definitely a formula. I like what you were saying, because what happens is you're dependent more on you than the Father
Yes.
himself.
That's it.
When you're constantly working and working and working, and as we know, the more overtime you do, the more they take out in taxes anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't really,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even worth doing overtime. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I know this new guy in office said he's going to change that. But
Yeah.
we're going to see. But bottom line is, when you place yourself under the system of kingdom,
Mhm.
he will make sure that you are replenished and also reap the benefits and the rewards of your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But everything is in order. We have to do things in its proper order, its proper form. You know, we're often putting everything else before God.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you do, another thing that you do, not only are you neglecting God, you're neglecting yourself. And what happens when you neglect yourself, you neglect your family. And what happens in that aspect of you neglecting your family, you stop and turn around and look and see it like, man, just like me, I got so busy trying to get me together. And then I started seeing my children, things was happening in their lives, you know what I'm saying? And calamities and this and that. And Father stopped me. He said, you know what? You need to get them together and teach them, show them how to pray, show them how to worship, show them how to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started a prayer line for my family,
There you go.
so I can teach them how to pray, how to go to Father, how to rely on him.
Mm-hmm.
It really works. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm seeing the fruit of that. At first, that wasn't my focus. My focus was me. Man, I got to get myself together and ready for God's people. But God's people started, that's around me.
Your
my
family,
immediate,
your
my
family
family.
is always first
You know what I'm saying?
ministry, your first
Man.
ministry.
But we have to get ourselves right before we can get anybody else right. That's
That's true.
first. If you don't get yourself right, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't.
So let me and you, I'm 100% saying what both of you guys are saying. But did God get him an assignment before he gave him a family?
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
you're right. And,
No.
and that's what we said.
Okay.
That's what we
So
said.
so
Yeah.
so basically, if I'm in connection with the Father,
Mhm.
then I'm gonna get myself right.
Correct.
Eventually,
So I
yeah.
can have a family.
Right.
Right.
So then now I know how to place my family next.
Right.
right.
And then I know how to place what I do after that.
Mm.
Exactly.
But the problem is I ain't right with me and him, and I start a family.
Mm.
I start a business. I don't even know my assignment. I'm just doing because this is what making me money.
Well, he'll allow you to get so far, and then he'll cut you off.
Well,
He'll let you go so far to let you know that you need me, brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does.
Yeah.
All day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
You think that you doing all of this,
Right.
work, but then all of a sudden he lets you know that let me show him what's really gonna happen, and then he slights you, cuts you back, and then he gives you a reason to go to him.
That's
Right.
it. That's right.
Because after he
yeah.
gives you so much and allows you to do it, you think that you don't need nobody
Right.
until you start having problems. And like it, even those that aren't believers, the first word to come out of their mouth, "Oh my God,
Mm-hmm. Well,
Jesus.
Jesus, oh my God," Now,
Well,
now they believers now.
Right.
well, when
Before you didn't care about,
I mean, he gave us power to even get up in the morning.
Right.
exactly.
You can't even get out your bed if he ain't with you.
Mm.
You can't see, you can't walk, talk, write, do nothing. You
Right.
let something lock up.
Yeah, you're right about that.
All money stopping.
Yeah.
All you going out there, all that's gonna stop.
Right.
Because that's sometimes he let you say, you ain't going nowhere today. You're gonna sit here and talk to me. We're gonna have a conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What you was planning. Let me show you how easy, how one thing I can take away from you that quick. I remember I woke up one morning. I had I couldn't catch my breath. I didn't know that I had walking pneumonia.
Mm.
I had been just going around, just doing my normal thing.
Mhm.
I didn't know. Then I woke up and I couldn't breathe.
Mm.
Then let me know you just one breath away from being here.
Right.
That's all it is. Just one breath.
Right.
Once you let your lungs clog up, that's it.
Right.
You don't have all the job, the car, the money, the wife, the kid. Oh, you're not here no more.
Yeah. Yeah. I started because you used to come down on me, man. And like, man, you're working and working and working. And then, even Sammy D would remind me sometimes. And I'm just like, slow it down. All money is not good money. You know what I'm saying? Lately, although I could use it, I'm putting myself in the position to trust Father. You know what I'm saying? I don't always have to take the job. I got a job and, I quoted the man one price. And then when I went there, I looked at it. I said, no, I have to charge more. He didn't want to do it for the price that I was going to charge him. But I said, for me to work that hard, I need to get paid for it. Other than that, it's not worth it to me. So I walked away from it, and I don't know if he got somebody else to do it, but bottom line is I'm just to the point where I don't have to have that money.
Man,
I'm trying to work smarter, not harder.
I appreciate you, bro. And the only reason I was saying anything to you is because I think you were being underappreciated.
Yeah.
In what you were doing. And it wasn't to strike again because you got an excellent work habit.
Yeah.
Work effort. Sammy Day too. You guys don't have a problem putting in the work.
Right.
And me either. I've done that. But what I'm saying, I knew it was to a point I was like kind of just looking and I was like, they don't appreciate him the way they should appreciate him.
Right.
Because there's a certain level when you get to having your business at a certain time, the time is more important than the money from it. If it don't balance out to the point, sometimes it's just not worth the job.
Right.
Right. Well, I learned that through through experience also that every job that came my way, all I thought about was
The money.
the money.
Mhm.
But I realized that these people and myself, I didn't value myself. So what God does is present these people to the front so that you can make that decision, and he tests you by bringing these people to you. So when I found out, when I stopped and said, well, I don't think, I'm only going to do it for this price. If you can't accept that, then I think maybe you'll do better going somewhere else.
Mhm.
And when I started talking like that, and I'd go, take the day off and go for a bike ride, my phone would ring
20 times.
20 times.
Yeah.
And that was God's way of showing me
Mhm.
that now you get it, son.
You trusted in him.
Now you're trusting in him.
The
Exactly.
world system.
And
right.
so he started sending more people to me
Mhm,
to
mhm.
where I didn't have to worry about it anymore, because I caught that lesson.
Mhm.
Before, it was like, oh, I better do this because I work for myself and I don't know when some money gonna come.
Right.
But I don't look at it that way anymore, because I have built my business up to the point, and I've worked enough years to say, this is what I will take. If this is not good for you, maybe you should go somewhere else. And now he presents me with people that are for my worth.
And you know what? And you know the thing about it, man, I think what we're saying and what God was showing us is that when he did his work, he did it and it was good. It was enough.
Right.
I
Mhm.
didn't have to go do something
Mhm.
that wasn't really
Suffice enough.
suffice enough to
Right.
do what I needed. I did this and it was good.
Right.
So when I do a job or I do something and I do it right and I do it to the best of my ability, it's good. And I can rest and say and look at it and say it was good.
Mhm.
The work I did, and I'm going to be compensated for the work I do.
Right.
Right.
And I'm in my rest.
Right.
My rest is part of the compensation of the work I did. Anything you do, you're supposed to do your best.
Yeah.
Like God did his best and do it. I took a lot of things and I did a lot of jobs that I didn't want to do or I didn't do my best. And I just did it for the money.
Mhm.
And it benefited me, but it really didn't benefit me.
Right.
Because the bottom line is y'all, when you have your integrity in place,
Yeah.
you say, listen, I cannot do that job for this amount of money. I can't do this for that amount of job.
Right.
They respect you.
Right.
They respect your business.
Right.
Just like you want to respect their business by
Right.
giving them your best. But if I take this job at this amount, you'll keep lowballing me. You'll keep on treating me less than what I'm qualified or capable or I should receive, the amount I should receive.
Yeah, you're gonna always run across somebody that's gonna lowball.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
That's just part of
Yeah.
the game.
It's a test.
It's yeah, it is a test.
Yeah.
But I've learned to ask them, what are your standards? What do you want? What do you want to pay?
Yes.
Because I know how to give you what you want to pay for. You pay for what you get.
You can negotiate.
Yeah.
You can
You pay
negotiate.
for what you get,
Yes. Yes.
So, that's just a process of growth, as he was saying.
Yeah.
That's all.
I like the fact that we were in the barter system
Mm-hmm.
before the money. Because the thing is, if I had a tent maker and you were a blacksmith,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? And you were a food person.
Yeah. Well, we're going back into that system, believe it or not.
Well, we probably are. Like you said, the time is coming, what
Yeah.
you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that barter system, it was quality against quality. What I needed and what you needed, there was a transfer of our needs, and there was no problem with that.
Yeah, boy, that's a trip. Because, like I was saying, Father he's been talking to me lately, and he's showing me what the future is going to look like.
Mm.
The money system is going to change, and things are going to be survival mode. So what he's showing us is we need to come together. We need to start storing up. We need to start preparing.
Yes.
That money that we are stacking up now,
Mm-mm.
you better invest it into something else, because it's going to be just paper you're going to use to keep yourself warm. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
basically, we will be going into the bartering system. That's why I've said we have to go back to the word and look at God's process and how he was showing us the way things should be. There's an order to things. And when, like you say, when I go and do a job, and allow them to lowball me,
Mhm.
that means that I don't appreciate me.
That's
Mhm.
true.
And one of the things in the word that he's showing
Yes.
us when he said he stopped and he said, and it was good,
Mhm.
that means that God appreciate what he did.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So people appreciate you.
Yes.
Stop, look around, uh, enjoy life.
Mhm.
You know, it's so short. It's here today and gone tomorrow. We have to start to enjoy life. We have to start to appreciate us as a people, not to
Yes.
to look upon yourself as higher or mightier than other people, but just to learn how to appreciate yourself. You can appreciate yourself and be humble with that.
Mhm.
You know, the word
Yes.
teaches us how to be humble. So you can be appreciative of what God has given you, but also appreciative of you. And the way you appreciate you, you stop allowing people to steal time from you
Ooh.
that don't deserve it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
time is the most expensive thing that we have.
The most precious
It's the
thing.
most precious thing that we
Yes.
have. So you can't get it back.
No.
You know, so every time we go do a job, every time we go to work, every time we over here, every time we over there, we are losing time. And that's
Yeah.
something that you can't get back. So that's why it's so important. Like Father said, I created the heavens and the earth, and I took the waters and I separate the deep from the shallow.
Mhm.
And I stopped and looked and I saw that it was good.
Mhm.
A
So
lot
he-
of
yeah.
Go ahead.
So bottom line is appreciate it to the fullest. Go ahead.
A lot of times we as people don't realize that your actions,
Mhm.
you're actually, when you communicate with people, you're actually teaching them how to treat you,
Right.
because
Mm.
how you come at them and how you treat yourself and shows them how they can treat you.
Mm.
So when you do harm to yourself, or when they see that, well, this person doesn't have very much self-esteem about themselves, or they don't have this and this and that, they feel that they can either run over you
Mhm.
or treat you any type of way. So you have to remember, when you are communicating to others, that you do have standards, and that you
Yes.
do you withhold a certain amount of standard to yourself, that
Integrity of you.
exactly.
Mhm.
And you, like I just said, you're teaching others how to treat you.
How to handle you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the lesson God has said is, if I created you in my image, so you should think the most of yourself.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You should have a high standard of yourself
Mhm.
and what you do, because don't do something halfway.
Mm.
I didn't do nothing halfway. Don't
Right.
you do it halfway?
Right.
Because you in my image, you in my likeness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So make sure you do it with a quality, because when I see Brother Andre's work, and I say, man, that's top quality.
Mhm.
When I see Carlisle's work, I say, that's top quality.
Mhm.
Guess what? Yeah, man. Who did that work for you?
Mm.
Now you pulling in other people to do for you to do their work,
Right.
but they see the quality of work you are.
Mm.
And guess what? That's it's a beautiful thing when you done some good work.
Yeah.
And then the work is working for you.
Hmm. Yeah.
You at
Exactly.
home resting, and your phone is ringing.
Mhm.
Well, you did work for such and such, and I love the work you did.
Right. Right.
How
Yeah.
can I hire you? Can I hire you? That's the key.
Mhm.
That's what God is trying to get us to get to that place. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you notice, when he created man, he said it was good.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he said it was very good.
Very good.
You know what I'm saying? So, like what you said, to back it up,
Mhm.
God didn't make no mess.
No.
You know what
No.
I'm saying? So
No.
we have to start moving and operating as if we are God's best.
That's it. Integrity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got one more scripture, and then we're gonna close on out. That's Romans 8:28. That's and we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God and them who are called according to his purpose.
Hmm.
And it just solidifies what we were saying. We are here for God's purpose. We each have an assignment,
Hmm.
but we are here to fulfill God's purpose.
Yes.
And in the midst of that, he's telling us, because what he showed you in Genesis,
Mhm.
every time he finished a day, he looked, he basked in it, and he said,
Mhm.
this is good. This is beautiful.
Mhm.
I love my creation.
Mhm.
And what he was telling you is that everything he created is good
Mhm.
and it's perfect.
Mhm.
It is not until the sin came into the world. But you know what?
That's right.
Absence of the sin, it is still good. You know, because the trees aren't sinning. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The animals aren't really sinning. They don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? So God created them.
Yeah.
And he also said that that was good.
Well, you
know
think
what I'm saying?
about it.
Yeah.
If you'd have created us first
Mm,
and
mhm.
we sinned, then everything else would have.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Think about that. So God kind of know what He's doing.
Yeah. He made that plan. Yeah.
yeah.
Could you imagine if He made us first? We were talking about, well, I made the trees and I made the animals.
Right.
This
right.
is mine. And
Yeah, it did.
yeah.
It didn't start
Right.
getting messed
Woo,
up until we
man.
touched it.
Man, we would have been acting. He already knew. He like,
Right. Yeah, so
Hmm.
we're gonna go ahead and chime on out, man. This was a good one. I definitely enjoyed this. Man, it was good. It was good. So bottom line, people, when you're on your day to day, no matter what it is, spending time with your family, hanging out with your friends, going to work, going from and to, stop and reflect and enjoy. Your first ministry is your family, your household, those that are connected to you, the ones that are closest to you. Make sure that you give them the word, that you give them prayer. In fact, just spend time with them. Don't work so much that you don't stop to enjoy your loved ones, to enjoy life, to enjoy the things that you have accomplished. As you see what God himself did, he did not need to rest, nor did he have to look at what he did and say it was good, because everything that God makes, it is good. Everything that he built, it is good and perfect. And like you said, on that seventh day, he said he rested. God does not need to rest, but he put those scriptures there for us to enjoy and get the fullness of life and what we need. All right, gentlemen and the ladies that are listening, like we always say, you can't get what you never had if you don't go where you never been. We're going to say bye for now. But as we reflect, we're going to listen to this tune as we go on out. God bless. I see you real soon. Man, things are moving.